Today I'm working on something truly epic. You see, I just got in the prototype rules for Kingdoms Forlorn, one of my most anticipated games of the year. It is Thursday night. There is a blizzard happening outside that window. Shira is at the NICU working the night shift and potentially might not make it back home. And I'm up working on learning this game. Now, I've already done some work before tuning in here, but I was thinking about the vlog this week and what the story was that I wanted to tell. And I thought, I'm going to be spending the next 10 to 12 hours preparing content for Kingdoms Forlorn, digging into the rules, learning how it actually plays, finding questions that Ash and I have that just desperately need to be answered, and working to get content to you, the audience, before the Kickstarter launches. And we're only about 14 days away from that, so time is of the essence, especially if we want to know, master, and display multiple aspects of the game and have multiple gameplays to show off. So I thought this week I'd just bring you on that journey with me. I need to go ahead and catch you up on what we've already done, so let's get started talking about where we are right now. So this morning I woke up, lit a fire, and printed out about 50 pages worth of rules, not including the extra additional storybooks and all the other elements that go into this game. I sat down and spent about an hour and a half reading and digesting through Kingdoms Forlorn. Because here's the thing, when you're a content creator, there's no how-to-play videos, there's no gameplay videos already in existence, there's nothing to teach me or show me exactly what this is talking about. So I spent most of this afternoon doing my best to do that first preliminary read. You never quite realize just how helpful and essential gameplay videos are, how to play videos are, rules mistakes videos are, until you sit down with a unrefined, unfinished prototype rulebook with prototype components with no one else other than the publisher who has ever played it. Well, and playtesters, development, all of that. But I mean, other than the core people, I'm one of the first to sink in, which is exciting, but also hard. After doing the initial read, I went outside to the icy and terrifying, blustery Cleveland weather to go over to Boardgame Co's house, who lives about 2 blocks away from me. I was walking in snow above my boot length, which was cold and uncomfortable, and we sat down and did an initial play. That took about 2.5 hours digging into it and honestly finding more questions than I had answers for. And it was a frustrating experience. Most of the time when you dive into these bigger prototype-style games, it is really, really frustrating to not just be able to play, to not have everything clean and concise. Instead, you're looking for answers, you're hunting for keywords, you're digesting iconography, and sometimes you're sending emails, because everything isn't included in the rulebook yet. That was the case here. So I am back home now, starting this vlog, and starting the next stage of learning this game. You see, I need to read the rulebook one more time in its entirety, and then I need to set up my own copy of it here in the studio and start digging in, running into more problems and issues until I feel like I'm up to speed enough that I can record a gameplay video for you all to enjoy. Now my goal is for a first look, or a first gameplay scenario, to drop sometime tomorrow or Sunday at the latest. Because like I said, if we're looking to do a series of content on this campaign-style game, I don't have that big of a window before the project actually launches. And if we're going to put in all this time and effort for one of a few people who have a prototype, I want to be one of the first ones out with content. Strategically, it makes sense for my audience, it makes sense, but we need to make sure that content's good and worthwhile. Because, here's the thing, I could spend 20 hours this week working on coverage. And if my coverage comes 2 weeks after or a week after other people have already put stuff out, you get like 50% of the views, 50% of the engagement, 50% of the hype. And it makes it so that all that time you put in, all that time you invested in learning and doing content doesn't actually equate to kind of the engagement that you need to justify it. So part of the puzzle is not only doing content and doing it efficiently and accurately, but also doing it quickly, doing it timely, making sure you're able to produce stuff that the audience is excited to engage with. So the fire's burning, and I have a rule book to read. So let's get started. Now, when it comes to rules on any game, not just prototypes, I'm a bit of a visual learner. I like having something in front of me. The game set up, the display pieces, things that I can mess with, questions that I can ask. So the first read of the rulebook is almost never enough for me to know the game flat out. And that could be true with Cockroach Poker all the way up to something that's Kingdom Death comparable. But now that I've sat down and spent about 2.5, 3 hours with Board Game Co. walking through the stages and learning everything I don't know, I have a visual mind map of what the table looks like, what cards look like when they come out, how decks are sorted and organized, and all the components I have in my prototype. So we're on to read number 2. Read number 2 is where I look for the details, the things I might miss, the questions I still have outstanding, and where I start collecting a list of things I might need to ask the publisher before I can certify that I've fully played and covered their game. Because like anything prototype or anything still in development, we don't know what is and isn't there, and we, like you might experience when you get a rule book that's not the best written, we have to stumble our way through and find answers that to the publisher seem obvious because they've lived with the game for years. And to us, who've just seen it for the past 5 hours, we're blind to where and how they might have included the things we're looking for. So, read number 2 is going to be focused on the details, the flow, the parts of the game that I still don't quite get. And then, well, very, very soon, we're going to go ahead and head up to the studio and start getting everything set up to start learning the game on the table in person, where I need to get a full playthrough done so that, again, I can find more problem areas that I'm just not familiar with. So, let's go ahead and read this. Alright, I guess it's time for an update. I have a pile of papers next to me. I just got finished reading through, it's been about an hour, I wasted a little bit of time on Facebook, and I just got finished reading through all of the different keywords and terms, because there were some of those that we were confused about, and all of the delve conditions, or the delve scenario, because this game is split into 2. You have the clash phase and the delve phase. It's kind of like the hunt phase and the showdown phase in Kingdom Death. So I worked my way through the delve. I have that fresh in my mind. I think I'm going to go set up the delve and actually try to play through just a delve scenario until we get to the clash scenario. Then I'm going to pause, reread through all of the clash rules, and then try to resolve the clash. Now, there's a few things that the rulebook is just not answering right now. I don't know if this is a game that needs to be played with 4 characters, or it seems to indicate that I should be able to play and function with 1 character running, but the clash phase involves a giant showdown with a bunch of creatures, and so I need to get to the point where I can test and see if that actually works, or if I just get annihilated, because in Kingdom Death, if you tried to run that with 1 survivor, you'd just be decimated. But here's the thing. In Kingdoms Forlorn, every character has their own narrative pathway and unique cards and abilities. It's not like Kingdom Death in the same way, because in Kingdom Death, everyone has their more complicated stats, but you grow slowly over the course of the game, whereas in this, everyone sort of has this burden of elements that they're carrying. So it feels like it should run with 1 character. But I need to find out. If it does, that's perfect, because then I can really dive into 1 character, learn the game system, do a solo gameplay. If it doesn't and I get annihilated, I need to send an email to answer some questions. I also believe there's some tokens that I just don't have the keyword for yet. So I understand the structure of the game. I'm pretty sure. The setup, the guidelines. I even caught some things that I'd missed when Alex and I tried to play it. But what I'm struggling with now is some of the key terminology. The iconography is a bit hard to process, but more and most importantly, I need to figure out how and where this game functions best. And no one has been able to tell me that, because no one's played it. No, there's no reviewers out there, right? So I've got to figure that out for myself. Let's go do it. Oh, and keeping me company for the duration of this reading process is this adorable little dog. Asher, Hey, Asher. Good girl. Come here. Come here. Come here. Have you been sleeping? Have you been so tired? Hi. Good girl. Good girl. Up in the studio, we needed to be a little bit wider there. Okay. Up in the studio, we printed out the story arc that we're following along with enough for one character, which is its own thick pad of paper. You can tell this prototype rulebook is well loved and used. And now what I'm going to go through is I'm going to go step by step through the setup guidelines, just to get everything exactly as this book is telling me here on the table. And then I'm going to play through the first quarter of the game, the first scenario, right? Which is what I was telling you about, which is really the dungeon delve, the dungeon crawl, the exploration portion of the game. And I'm also going to read through the Principalities and Principles, Principality of Stone Kingdom book, which sets up the lore. So, there's a whole big pile of written text in here, but I'm going to be playing in this kingdom and with Sir Sanch, which is, I believe, our lovely little gentleman with a monkey on his back. The night is dark and foreboding as Sir Sanch rides at full tilt through the countryside. It is as if death itself compels him to haste, though he is not running from it, but giving chase. As he cuts through the thick star-walken forest, whipped mercilessly by heavy branches, nocturnal animals howl all around him, a mournful threnody of foreshadowing what awaits at the end of the road. And I'm going to do the rest of it just on my own. Still with a voice, though, just not with you watching. All right, time for another update. I have set up the whole scenario. I think I'm ready to go. I have my cards organized. I understand most of my tokens. Just some of those keywords that I might run into that could be a problem. But Shira is on her way home right now. She decided to try to brave the icy road. She was at the NICU until midnight. So there's no way she can get into the driveway unless I go shovel it. Not snowblow it, shovel it. Inches and inches and inches of snow. So I'm going to go deal with that, and then we're going to come back in cold and tired and hungry, and I'm going to continue digging into this game because it's set up and because I want to, I want to figure it out. I need to learn it. I'm so excited. It resembles Kingdom Death in so many different ways and facets. I'm actually really excited to do a comparison between the two once I'm able to actually dig into this, because the rulebook read like terminology, framework, structure. It's iterating on that idea of my favorite game system of all time. And if it does something unique or new or just explores that world in its own way, or that mechanic system in its own way, I'm really compelled. But first I need to play it. So we're like 7 hours into work on this game today. Okay, it is so icy and so cold. I'm not entirely sure why we came to Cleveland. But, I'm slipping all over the ice. But I need to handle this in order for Shira to actually get up the driveway. All right. Okay, so I'm not done, but
she can entertain you while I finish, I guess. Hi, Shira.
Hi.
You made it home.
I did. You're so sweet for doing the driveway for me. Are you enjoying yourself?
No.
It's one of your first big snowstorms. Is that your music?
Huh?
Is that your music? You're adorable. You're getting your exercise in for the day. Good job.
I can't hear you. What?
Continue. He's so sweet. He knew I was coming home from work and he's working so hard to get the driveway shoveled. Actually, it snowed a decent amount since I left. I left around 3 in the afternoon and we had our friendly neighborhood guy with a snowplow blow us out, and Jesse realized that next year he's going to invest in a snowblower because the shovels are just not cutting it. Quality snowblowers in Cleveland are the bomb. It's sweet to watch him. He's so out of breath. Oh, but it's cold. It's 20 degrees and my arm is sitting out the window, so you're gonna come inside the car. All right, much better. We're in the nice warm car. Jesse's shuffling. You wanna take a look?
There's too much snow.
He hasn't seen a real Cleveland winter yet.
Huh?
He thinks this is a lot of snow. It's nothing.
You try shuffling it all. Oh.
Alright, so while he continues to be an awesome friend and shovel out the driveway, I can talk to you. Ooh, not in park. I should probably put the car in park. I'm just standing. Literally, the car's in the middle of the street. As I was driving home, I saw some cars with their hazards on in people's driveways that they couldn't get up the driveway. That's the big problem. You can't get enough momentum to get up the driveway, and then you get stuck at the very end, and your wheels just turn and turn and turn. I speak from experience. It's not fun. But what are some recommendations for snowy day games? Because it doesn't look like this is melting anytime soon. It's going to be here at least through the weekend, probably to Sunday and Monday. So what should we make a priority to get to the table?
Can you get into that?
Probably.
Okay.
You want to watch me? Because it should be entertaining.
Okay, I think I did my job. Now, I would like to go back inside where it's warm and learn how to play that game, because this is part of it as well. It's not only, where's my light? It's not only the process of learning the game, it's also the process of like living life while you do it. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so I successfully... Hi there, pup. Hi. I successfully rescued Shira from the snow.
Rescued.
She was rescued.
He did a really good job shoveling. Props to him.
We got her inside. Hi. And here's the thing. She also doesn't love being around while I slam my head against rule books. Like, we kind of have to split and divide. It's either... it's honestly either you learn a rule book and I leave you alone for a solid couple hours, or I learn a rule book and you leave me alone for a solid couple hours.
Or we cohabitate and each learn a rule book and don't talk to each other during the process.
That definitely doesn't happen. So I'm going to go back upstairs, continue this story, continue learning a game. Hi, thank you so much. Wow. Yeah, that's the spot. Oh, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Wow, okay. Well, we're trying to film a video at the moment. Honestly, no, we're just going to keep going? Okay. Yeah, great. Nope. Yeah,
This is
right
my favorite
there.
pastime.
Right there.
Jesse's
wow.
arm.
Okay.
Apparently he has salty skin or
That's.
something.
I mean, that is amazing. I'll
She
honestly.
does this all the time. She licks his pillows. She licks his head.
Don't.
She licks his arms.
Don't worry about us. We'll continue with this story once you're done. You know, this is really your thing. So, we'll just wait. Okay. Yeah. Don't. Oh. Some up there as well. Great. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna head back upstairs and
She wasn't
finish.
done yet.
Oh, we're not. Okay, we're at interruption. Great. So I'm gonna head back upstairs and finish filming or finish working through this game. Odds are we won't film tonight, so probably no content the day before you're watching this. But if I can make it happen, I'll make it happen. Maybe I'll get a preview out or something over on Quack and Co, which isn't really a thing.
No, not unless you search for it.
Not unless you search for it. All right. Back at it. Oh, not quite done. Not quite done. Okay, well, that's enough of that. Okay, back at it. I made myself a nice mug of tea, and we're diving back into this. And I have started taking a few notes early on questions that I might have for the publisher. We'll see if I need to send that email or not. My chest is still a little sore from all that shoveling. It is cold outside. Who would have thunk? Back with another update. I have played through the first scenario with one character. There were one or two moments where it seemed like multiple players needed to be involved, but I'm just not sure. It could be a wording thing. It could be how you resolve things. I went with kind of a rule of death style, where if it was something negative that might happen to anyone, it happened to my one individual character. And so far, it seems like it's functioning. I've also been using my computer here to find keywords or key terminology. When I come across something that I'm not quite sure, I'll search it in the book. There's been a few that have been clarified nicely, and then there's one specifically called Edge, which I'm not quite sure what it does. It says that it gives me a better chance at resolving successful rolls, and then no other reference to Edge is made, so that better chance is hypothetical, or is some specific condition that as long as I have that ability or that token or that keyword, whatever it is, something else in the future is going to reference it. And that's what a lot of this game does. So for now, I'm treating it like that. I'm writing down the condition Edge, saying I have one, with the expectation that down the road, some story event may say, if you have an Edge, use it to roll a better result, or upgrade your dice, or something and so forth. Now, I need to go read the second part of the rulebook, which is a focus on the actual fight, and then run the fight, seeing if I can do it effectively and efficiently with one character. Because if I can't, this changes the entire puzzle, right? If I have to run 4 characters, it's a whole different conversation. So, let's go check it out. Alright, it's 3 a.m. I just finished reading through about 2 times, because I would read, pause, double check, process, read again, all of the Clash setup, the Clash specifics, and now I need to set up the very first Clash scenario. So, I mean, the game works on 2 functions, right? It's a exploration function and then a showdown function, and it's doing some things different from Kingdom Death, but a lot of the terminology and the game flow and the way it's actually operating is very reminiscent of KDM. The thing that I'm concerned about at the moment, as I learn this, is I really want to be able to play and record and show off a solo mode of this game, because it's supposed to function as it. But each character has a individual narrative arc that you're trying to pursue, that triggers and intertwines and affects the game state. But right now, and I'm about to check this, but right now I don't see a way that we can do the actual encounter, the boss battle, without all 4 characters on the game board, because it's just actions, right? You get 2 actions with the enemies, and then activate all 4 characters. That's massive compared to debuffing all the way down to 1 character fighting double activations. The scale of difficulty is immense, and there's nothing right now that modifies the game for solo play or 1 character play as opposed to multi-character plays. I can house rule it. I don't think that's the right way to go, but with everyone's interweaving narrative arc, it'll be very hard to play and manage all the disparate parts, especially as I'm trying to tell the story, follow all of the various mechanics and rules, and also resolve a single narrative with a single hero, because you're supposed to kind of take your adventurer on their journey. And that's cool, but only if I can really legitimately take my adventurer on my journey, not all 4 adventurers on all 4 of their journeys, or if you're playing 2-player, 2 adventurers on 2 of their journeys. I'm still processing, I'm still digging into it. We're probably, 9 hours or so into study and research and demoing and digging into this title. Like I said, it's 3 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and try to resolve a showdown now. And after that, I think I functionally know how to play the game. Whether or not I'm ready to record a gameplay, or I'll be functional enough, like awake enough to record a gameplay, is another question. But we're getting very close to the point where I have answers to most, if not all, of my questions. That doesn't mean I don't have any skepticism or concerns. That's how prototypes work. That's just the nature of the beast. But I am excited. I'm excited to play this. I'm excited to dive into it. The writing's fantastic so far, and there's a lot of elements here that seem really cool. So let's keep doing this. Let's keep going. So that over there is a successfully accomplished or resolved series of fights, which, like I expected, resulted in my ultimate demise because I have to have other people on the board with me. So I have some options right now. I'm 10 hours into this, and the whole intent was to try to do some display, some gameplay for tomorrow. Today now at this point. That's the aim. And I think I can. The issue is, it's going to be hard to run 4 characters. And not only that, but there's no way for me to run 4 characters and run 4 characters' narratives all at the same time. I need the other characters here to absorb damage, take hits, supplement the game, but running all of their stats, all of their conditions, all of the ways they influence and change the puzzle of the game almost needs 4 people here to run it, and we're not going to have that. Running it solo is an option. Waking up Shira and trying to talk her into playing it with me is an option. Not a very good one, though, honestly. I don't know. It's strange, because I now know how to play the game. I think I've got my teeth into it. But resolving and playing fluidly is going to be challenging. There's some cool elements here, but this is a hefty game with a lot of shifting mechanics, and I do wish that there was a way for me to operate it as a single night instead of 4 nights. But the way the game is set up at the moment, the way the version of it that I have, the prototype that I have, it does not seem possible to run it without running all 4 characters. Similar to Kingdom Death. I mean, you have to run 4 survivors in KDM, but the difference here is every character's narrative matters. Whereas in Kingdom Death, your survivors are squishy, and you might die, you might lose them, but you don't need them to live, and you don't need to know every status about them, and you grow them slowly. But here we have a lot of powerful characters with a lot of cool abilities that I haven't even read all of them yet, with cards that switch and activate from sequence to sequence, and resolutions that have to be had, and different dice stats that need to be taken into account. So there's a lot of little puzzles to manage. But, yeah, they're doing something cool, I'm excited to dive into the narrative. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it exactly. Okay, a big update. I just got an email from them. I sent an email mid-afternoon asking a few questions. I just got an email back, and I responded, "Are you up to chat for a few minutes?" It is currently 3:50 a.m. here in Ohio, and they don't live here. They're international, so we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to hop on a call here in just a little bit, resolve a few of the last-minute questions. I've been thinking about how I want to approach this, and for me, I know how the game functions now. I know the flow, I know the order of events. I still have to check the rules for some caveats and conditions, but honestly, I think I'm going to have to do that anyway until I've played another 20 hours of it, right? So for me now,
I think I want to show off the first scenario. The question is, what's the best way to do that? And that's what I want to ask them. So hopefully we can hop onto a call. I'll keep you posted. Awesome. So it's 4 a.m. and I'm waiting on a Google Meet or Google Hangouts for the team development leader to hop on. Because this is another part of the process, right? I'm struggling with stuff. I got an email back. I now get to actually chat with them, go through some of the problems, talk about how I want to approach filming it solo, see if they have solutions that maybe I don't have in the rulebook, resolve some questions. This back and forth then sets the framework for what I am hopefully going to still produce tonight. I've read through the rulebook 3 times now. I have played through the game, at least the first half of the game, twice now. I haven't faced the final bass battle yet, because we've been just trying to crunch in and resolve the stages of each scenario. But once we get that figured out, I'll either face the boss off camera, or I'll try to face the boss on camera, and if it goes well, awesome. If there's, a bunch of tactical errors and stuff, we'll scrap it and we'll re-record or do it again. But I think as long as I get the foundation right and give the audience the caveat, it should be good to go. Okay, someone is joining. Let's go ahead and admit them. So, update, I just had a chance to talk with Lucas for the past 15 minutes or so. He said I had some decent questions, which is great, but clarified a collection of things that were important. First off, my assumption that I had that this prototype only is playing at 4 active players is correct, but you were telling me that the actual intent is to have the game function at all player counts, right?
Yes, it's our high priority to make it playable at all player counts. We want it to be a personal story that you can experience on your own or with others, however you want to play it. As of right now, the prototype works only with 4 characters. You can play them all, control them all as a single player, but it is going to be a bit difficult because there's quite a lot of those little mechanics that every character brings to the table. But the full game will be definitely playable 1 to 4 players.
So we've resolved a few of the questions I've had. We've also been able to touch base on how I want to approach coverage, especially doing something solo, which I'm about to sit down and film. So I think I'm actually going to be able to get the video that I'm trying to get done, and it is entirely, doing the video is not entirely because Lucas took the time here to chat with me, but me getting it even moderately correct is entirely because he was available. So thank you so much for hopping on the call with me. And
thank you too. We're really excited to see how you like the game and to watch your video, and we can't wait.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna say goodbye to both of you and start filming. I think it's time. About 9 hours, and now I think it's about time to start on actual channel content. So that was not only a really timely and good conversation, but also an essential conversation to me finishing up this. I mean, I was getting a little frustrated with just the process of learning. I mean, I'm sinking my teeth into something that is unfinished, unrefined, and also no one else has messed with. So there's a few iconography questions I had. There's a few player references and aids that I'd still like to have that they're working on for production and development, but they just don't have in time for this prototype. And then clarifying things like the way that some of these AI cards work when it comes to resolving, the way heat works, which is a really cool mechanic, but it's a little bit backwards. You gain heat by playing extra actions, but that heat then has negative consequences. Things reference it, and it resolves because of that. And then knowing that this game functions at 4 players only at the moment, like running all 4 narrative campaigns, my proposal was I'm going to run the other 3 kind of as dummy characters and then focus in on 1 narrative campaign with 1 narrative character to show how the game functions, but not necessarily get bogged down in 3 or 4 different pathways, because that's the cool thing that this game does, is it interweaves various stories and various pathways into each other. But if you're trying to run all 4 yourself, there is a lot that is just hard to manage, and the developers are going to be doing a solo-only mode. They're going to be doing a 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player, where your side characters maybe operate a little bit more as bags of sand or scarecrows. They work, they take hits, they pop up, but you're focused on you and your story, and there's new challenges because of the player count that you're running. That's the thought. That's what's in development. And now, Alexa, turn on the studio. I think it's time to begin actually filming. I'm excited. I've got to get this cleaned up first, though. Okay, let's do that. I know at this point you've seen me here in this studio for the past few hours with multiple updates, but we are set up and we're going to try to run a gameplay video. I could fall apart, it could be way too messy, but I think I know the game, and I have, from the publisher, an approved way or like a decent way to approach telling the story of the game without needing to run every single character, because it's just not possible. So, yeah, we're a little after 5 a.m. right now. It's 5:12 a.m., and we're going to do our best to get a gameplay up and running. I'm very excited. I'm excited to show this off. Let's see how this goes. It's been a long day. Last update from this spot, I promise. We just finished resolving probably the first half of the prototype content, showing it off, and I think it went well. Like, a little messy, a little cramped, a little bit too much to manage on the table, but I think any stage of this game without 4 players running it is going to be that. I did catch one moderate rules error that I had, but other than that, I think it worked pretty well, and I think I can safely say that I know this game well enough now to like run it and teach it and keep sharing it with people. So I have my computer back around the corner here. Right back here is grabbing the footage for me, and we are going to go ahead and start working on the edit. It is currently 6:49 a.m., which means I should be in bed, but I want to get this vlog done, and I want to get this edit done, and I want to be able to share some Kingdoms Forlorn with people. So, yeah, that's the thing. Bye. Okay, we're up, making good progress. I have the gameplay being edited currently. Keeping an eye out, catching whatever mistakes I made along the way. There are certainly a few in it, but I hope people enjoy it. I hope it is a good first look for a lot of people at how the system actually functions. We're getting close to probably the end part of this vlog. I mean, and the next chapter is diving in now, time and time again, figuring out more problems, sending more emails, more messages, more repeat of like the same process. But this is what we do. About 12 hours worth of reading a rulebook 3 times, playing about 4 or 5 hours worth, doing some recording, talking with the publisher, shoveling a driveway. This is sort of our daily dive into the world of board games. It's interesting because as a content creator, you don't really get to play or feature games like big old historic titles. You spend a lot more time actually learning and playing prototypes, which it's this whole new dynamic. It's amazing and it's fun and it's so cool, but it's also a weird thing. Like, I don't spend a lot of time playing the same game 70 times. I play 50 new games a month, which is different, but cool, but also different. So there you have it. I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to go to sleep. We might have an ending here. Shira can add something if she wants, but as far as I'm concerned, thank you for being here, thank you for watching, and let me know what else you want to see on these little weird vlog experiments.